Hey, this is Dino, and I'm going to walk you through the HMAC policy in Apigee X. So I've got my Apigee X environment here. We'll open up the list of API proxies, and I've created a loopback proxy that demonstrates the HMAC policy. Loopback means this is called a proxy, but it doesn't actually connect to anything upstream. It's really just got one get and three post requests that it handles. And for each of the posts, it just performs the HMAC calculation, invokes the HMAC policy, and then sends back the results of that. The first one is the first post here. It basically just takes the HMAC on the payload. You need to pass in the secret key as a query parameter. So it invokes this policy, which I'll show you. That's here. I'll make that a little bigger. Basically, it's saying we want to perform an HMAC. That's the policy. We want the SHA to be SHA-256. Probably a good idea. Don't use SHA-1. The thing that it's performing the HMAC on is the request payload, request content. So whatever I send in the post body. The key is private secret key, and this has been kind of it needs to have that private dot prefix in the variable. That's just a requirement of the policy. But this has been passed in as a query parameter, and basically we just copy the assign from the query parameter into that variable of the right form, and then the HMAC policy will accept it. And then the output, I say I want this variable, set that variable with the HMAC output, and use base 16 encoding. Something about encoding. The output is actually a byte stream. It's a set of bytes, and it's not representable as a string all by itself. It's not a UTF-8 string, set of bytes. So you need to encode it in order to be able to easily look at it. There's a couple of different options here. Base 16 is one of them. That's basically just each byte is represented as its hex characters. So if it's 0, it'll come out as if the byte value in this HMAC at a particular position is 0, it'll come out as 00. If the byte value at a particular position in the byte stream is, let's say, 16, it'll come out as 10. And base 16 just will encode all the different bytes, and concatenate all the individual byte values. Another option is base 64, which will look different. It can be the same value, but it'll look different. So you need to be careful when looking at HMAC values, what encoding you're using for the output. Okay, so that's the policy. That's this flow, which simply just calculates the HMAC on the payload. Then I've got a kind of variation on that, which calculates the HMAC and then verifies it against a given value. So it's the same basic policy. Looks like what we had before, but I added this one line, which is um, the verification value. So that's, and again, we need to be careful that we're using the same um, encoding that we expect. So I'm passing in, I'm going to need to pass in the verification value as a query parameter, and I'm going to need to encode that verification value as base 16. All right, so those are two different flows. This is now deployed. I can start a debug session. I'm not sure that's going to be super insightful or helpful, but I'll start one anyway. I think the more interesting thing is just actually invoking it. So I've got a terminal here, and I'm going to use curl. I have my Apigee endpoint set into this variable. That's the base path of the API proxy HMAC demo, and then that date. And this is just going to invoke that first flow that I showed you. performing the HMAC on the request payload. In my case, I used as the request payload the click round fox dot dot dot, and then I passed in a key which is going to be used in the HMAC secret 123. Obviously, it goes without saying you're not supposed to pass in a secret key as a query parameter into an API proxy. That's not a secure way of handling secrets, so don't do that. But for the purposes of demonstration, it's helpful. All right, so when I invoke that, it's hitting that API proxy, it's performing that HMAC policy. This is just some diagnostic information that I'm printing out on the response. Key bytes is basically the base 16 representation of these bytes. So it's using that. The HMAC policy is using that for a key. The thing that it's performing the HMAC on is that payload, which is what we passed in. The output encoding is base 16, and that's what the HMAC looks like. So if I invoke the same API proxy and I pass in a different payload, we would expect a different HMAC to come back. And sure enough, we got a different HMAC. So that's all to be expected. Now, if I copy this and then let's do the verification as well. Verification equals, and I'll pass in that same thing that it sent back. This we expect to succeed. So now it's verifying, which is basically just performing the HMAC and then checking against a specific value. That's this policy. Let me go back. This policy, where it's saying verify, basically do the HMAC calculation and then verify it against this value that we pass in. Again, you're not going to pass in the verification value. Often, you're not going to pass that in as query parameter. You may, but this is just showing you that the HMAC policy does two different things. One is just calculate the HMAC, and the second is calculate it and then verify it against the value that you pass in. All right, so if I change the value on the verification, we would expect that to fail. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm invoking not actually doing the verification because I need to verify, I need to invoke a different flow, which is payload with verify. So this one we expect to fail because I modified that last digit from a 1 to a 2. So we expect that to fail. If I make that again 1, it's going to send me back a positive message saying, yep, it actually worked. So that's HMAC. That's how the HMAC policy works. Be careful of your encoding. I'm going to share this video and I'll post the example proxy in my GitHub. Hope this is helpful. Till next time, keep it digital.